All right, guys. So I'm gonna do a timeline. Somebody asked me about my timeline. Albert, what were you doing when you were 6 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, and 30 years old? When did you become a millionaire? How did you become a millionaire? So a lot of people asked me that, and I'm gonna do my timeline now so that you guys can see how it takes time. And I'm not somebody that was born with a lot of money. I'm not somebody that was born with a lot of money. I was born actually with very little money. I would consider ourselves average to poor, lower class, obviously, and average to lower class. So we weren't completely broke because my dad and my mom, they worked really hard. So my mom was a teacher assistant at a school, elementary school, close to Echo Park where we lived. And then my dad was a painter. So my dad was a painter in Beverly Hills, Bel Air. He used to paint mansions and really good neighborhoods. So they both worked really hard. And before my mom became a teacher assistant, though, she was a stay-at-home mom. So my mom was actually a stay-at-home mom, and my dad was a full-time painter. So my dad would leave the house around 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and he would wake up really early. And I think that's where I get that. He would wake up really early and go to work, and he would dress in white, come back with a bunch of stains in his white outfit because obviously he was painting. So when he would come back, I would be like, well, what is he doing? And one day he took me to paint with him. But before I get into this really quick, I want to say that if you're thinking like, man, you know what? I'm not meant to be. This is not for us. I am an immigrant. I don't speak English. My Spanish is my first language. And I don't know if I can ever make it because all my family, like my Hispanic family, whether you're from El Salvador or from Guatemala or from Mexico or any place in South America, that's any place that speaks Spanish, and you're thinking, this is not for me. Well, I am proof that I started from nothing. And this is a Cullinan Rolls Royce. This car is probably worth $600,000. You guys see the car back there, the yellow one? That one's worth $1 million. I have another Ferrari over there, and I could go on and on. So you guys seen my success, and obviously if you're following me, you know what I'm about, and you know everything that I say. I want to teach, I want to help, and I want to help all of you avoid making the same mistakes that I made. So I'm going to go fast. I'm not going to go into too much detail. If you guys have more questions, please at the end, comment, like, and ask me, Albert, I want to learn about this next. Can you cover this topic? So when I was 6 years old, okay, my parents that immigrated from Mexico, they came here illegally without papers from Mexico. So my dad, he was a painter. So at 6 years old, finally I convinced him to take me with him to paint because I wanted to know so bad, what is it that you do, Dad? I thought he would come back from fighting aliens, and I thought he was a superhero because he would come back with stains, like red stains, yellow stains, and all these colors, and because he was painting and he would get dirty. So I'd be like, well, what do you do, Dad? And finally he took me with him. Okay, I was like in summer school or whatever the case was. I go with him to paint. And I thought it was Beverly Hills, but it wasn't Beverly Hills. It was actually Bel Air. So we go there, and I see mansions, kind of like where I live now. And now I live in a mansion here in Bel Air, but I see mansions. And so I saw this mansion, and I see this red Ferrari the first time he takes me with him to paint, to help him paint. Because I was like a little kid, so I wasn't really like helping him paint. I was kind of more giving him problems and more work because he would have to correct the stuff that I would do. So I was just trying to help as a little kid. You know, you want to help, 6 years old. So I asked my dad, hey, Dad, how come you don't have a mansion like this? Dad, are you out of your mind? Why don't you have a Ferrari? Dad, what's wrong with you? And long story short, he tells me, well, son, obviously in Spanish, because I spoke Spanish. Spanish was my first language. He tells me, this is not for us. So he tells me in Spanish, esto no es para nosotros. So I'm like, what do you mean it's not for us? Because as a kid, you think anything is possible. So he tells me, hey, you know what? If you work really hard and if you never quit, then maybe one day you'll have a red Ferrari. 7 Ferraris later, you know, I get a Ferrari, I get a second one, a third one, fourth, fifth. I lost count. I become a Ferrari collector, and then, you know, now we live here in the mansion in Bel Air. Before this, we lived in the mansion in Beverly Hills, and we're just moving up. But my point is, I'm not here to brag, tell you everything I have, but I want to show you that, hey, we started from nothing. I used to be a teacher assistant, okay, myself, making $9 an hour, and I got sick of that, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make $9 an hour and get the $1 meal from McDonald's every single day. I'm tired of this. So just like I did it, anybody can do it. So then I get into school. 6 years old, I start taking the school bus, and I go to Granada Hills. I went to Danube Elementary, then I went to Porter Middle School, and then I went to Kennedy High School in Granada Hills. So when I'm 6, I used to take the school bus from the ghetto, from Echo Park, because it was a bad Echo Park. So it was an Echo Park / LA, but the ghetto part. Drug dealing, assaults, shootings, alley fights. My dad would get an alley fight. So it was the worst. So my mom didn't want me to go to Belmont High School, Virgil Middle School, or Union Avenue Elementary, because she knew that more than likely I was going to become a gangster, and I was going to become a drug dealer, and I was going to get into this bad circle and start doing all these bad things. So my mom decides to send me on a school bus, yellow school bus. First day, you got to remember this, so really important. Mexican parents, Hispanic parents, they are very overprotective from their kids. So they do everything for you. They tell you, hey, the sun is bad. You have to make sure you carry your umbrella to cover the sun. Hey, you can't talk to strangers. Hey, make sure that you're always careful, and careful this, careful that. You can't leave the fridge open because you waste electricity. You got to turn off all the lights. You can't you shouldn't climb that because you might fall. So they're always like taking so much care of you, and it's not good because it makes you it just makes you very weak. So they were always taking care of me. The first day that I leave on a school bus, my parents are not there to protect me anymore. A bully gets me on a headlock, and he goes like this, and I get beat up the whole ride. I hated the fucking school bus. Then I get to school, and the teachers, the students, all start calling me wetback. You're Mexican. You don't have, you're a wetback. You don't belong here. Go back to your country where you came from. And they make fun of me. So they think I'm special ed. They put me on special ed class. Then they put me on ESL because they realize, hey, he's not special ed. He's actually, this is not his first language. He speaks Spanish perfectly. So long story short again, I speak fucked up Spanish and fucked up English now. So my English isn't the best. My Spanish isn't the best. It's actually worse. My Spanish is worse than my English. So I have fucked up languages. Now, when I get into college, I'm very insecure. I grew up being bullied, made fun of, and called wetback from elementary to middle school to high school. Couldn't get laid if my life depended on it. I always had all these crushes on girls, and I couldn't get them. The popular kids would get the hot girls. And I was so insecure. I was made fun of because I had so many pimples. I was skinny. You name it, and I would get red, more red than now. Like it was just, I was like the 40-year-old virgin, but as a teen. Okay, so that was my teens. My teens were, I was a virgin. I didn't drink alcohol. I couldn't get laid. Now I get into college, get tired of college. I'm like, I don't like college. College is not for me. I drop out. I tell my parents, hey, I'm sorry, parents. I know you bought me a red Honda Civic to go to college. I know that this is what us Mexicans, Latinos think. This is the way to become successful. You got to go to college, you get a degree so that you can make $60K, more or less, and then work for somebody that's an entrepreneur, a business owner. So all my friends that I grew up with, they're all college graduates. They're all making $60K, $70K, some more, some a little bit less, and they're all working for people like me. So now I see these kids that I grew up with, that my mom, you know, my mom's friends, they brought these kids and they were friends, and then they were making fun of me. Oh, you're a college dropout. Well, now all these kids, they're older now, they're overweight, they don't have any money, They have a full-time job making 60K, 70K, and they're working for people like me that are entrepreneurs, and they're definitely in a lot of debt that they got from college. They're not doing so good. Some of them are in jail. Some of them are in another country now, and they're not doing so good. So I get into real estate at 21 because I say enough is enough. I hate this. I hate my part-time job as a teacher assistant. I want to get into real estate because all these people doing real estate are driving Mercedes, Beamers, and they have Rolex watches. So I'm gonna get into real estate. I get into real estate. My first year at 21, I make $260,000. Keep in mind that the years are gonna be off by a year or two because I don't remember really clearly, and I want to make this video for you guys because you guys asked for it. So my first year in real estate and mortgage, I'm 21, I make $260,000, only to lose everything when I'm 24. In 2008, I lose everything. I become homeless. I sleep in my Ford Explorer for 2 months. Sylvia, my wife today, slept in my Ford Explorer with me for 2 months. Now, at 30 years, I decide I'm gonna open up my company. Why? Because somebody saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And her name is Gina Carr, and she used to work for Essex Mortgage, for First Guarantee actually back then. Now she still does business with us. She's amazing. She's a great lady, but she saw something in me. And the moral of the story is somebody saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And that was to become an entrepreneur. So I opened my business. I opened TMG. I don't know how to open anything. I asked my previous broker, which I'm going to see this Monday, how do you do it? Obviously, the timing wasn't right. He told me, don't do it. It's a lot of work. You're good where you are right here. And I didn't get the blueprint from him. However, that didn't stop me. I go to Google, I research, I call the Department of Real Estate, I call I Google how to open up a corporation. I go to I think it was LegalZoom. I open my corporation, I open TMG, and then I find out, oh, like holy moly, this is a complete mistake. So many steps. I gotta get sponsored by this, get licensed here, get this, get that. So many things that I got to do that I didn't even know. It takes so many months. It takes a whole year to get up and running. And for a year, I can't do business. So I'm like, I thought it was going to be this easy. No, it's really complicated, really hard to start a business, and it's not for everybody. So that's a whole different topic. Like I don't wish anybody to start a business. I'll convince you, stay away from creating a business. It's better if you join a business that's already proven and is being very successful. Join them and align yourself with somebody like me, somebody like a Patrick Bet-David, or somebody like a Grant Cardone, or somebody that already has an established business where you could thrive along them and become millionaires, multimillionaires along them, possibly billionaires. Somebody like Bill Gates started Microsoft, but then he created other billionaires, not millionaires, but other billionaires. So that's what I suggest. Now, if you want to become an entrepreneur, then I can make another video for that. But that's not what I recommend. So at 32 years old, after I start my company, make so many mistakes, I can't operate for a year, I become a millionaire, a solid millionaire by 32. Now, at 32, I become a millionaire, and then I start building a team, and that's how I did it. I became a millionaire by building the team and other people around me. Now, I get into problems, and I become not a millionaire, so I lose everything, and I become negative, and now I'm worth negative millions, if that makes any sense. Because now, as we grow the company, we have all these expenses, my liabilities exceed my assets, and now I'm a negative millionaire, if that makes any sense. So that's how it happened. Now today, I'm gonna be 40 next year, and by the time you watch this, if you watch it a year later, or by the time I'm 40, or I don't know when you're gonna watch this video, I'm gonna be worth $100 million. $100 million. So I hope this helps a lot of you. I just started and created my 7th company from scratch. This is my 7th corporation from scratch. This is my 7th company. Every company that I've created has made $1 million the first year at the minimum. And many companies that have taken to 8 figures. So this is just a little bit about what I've accomplished, but how I started and my timeline, and how you could see that I didn't become a millionaire from scratch. I wasn't born a millionaire. I was lost. I made a lot of mistakes, and it took me almost 40 years to get where I am today. So hopefully this helps. If you like it, please like my page, like this post, subscribe, and comment below. What do you want, Albert? What do you want me to cover? What do you want me to teach you? What do you want me to help you with? Because I just, at this point in my career, my life, I just want to give you guys value. I want to help you, because the more I give, the more I teach, the more lives I change, the more I get, the more my family creates more wealth, the more I win. So you got to give before you get. Comment below. What do you want me to teach next? Love you guys.